50 incredible facts into one captivating narrative. Think of it as a journey through the biology, the history, and the intense conservation efforts behind one of the world's absolute favorite animals. So, settle in because these slides are packed with fascinating insights. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with those 50 years of pandas at the zoo, then we'll look at what I call the bamboo paradox, followed by the miracle of motherhood and the wild transformation from a tiny pink newborn to a full-grown giant panda. Finally, we'll zoom out to see the global efforts saving this vulnerable species. Kicking things off with Section 1, 50 Years of Giant Pandas, a Zoo Legacy. It all actually started back in 1972. First Lady Patricia Nixon was at a dinner in Beijing and casually mentioned how much she loved pandas. Just a simple comment, right? Well, following that remark, Chinese Premier Zhao Enlai gifted Ling Ling and Xing Xing to the American people. Talk about an amazing gift. Fast forward to 1999, the zoo launched its PandaCam program. And get this, those 40 cameras have drawn over 100 million views since they went live. A year later, in 2000, the beloved adult pair, Mei Xiang and Tian Tian, arrived, continuing that incredible panda legacy right in the nation's capital. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The bamboo paradox, biological quirks. Now, I want you to think about this seemingly simple question. Why are giant pandas black and white? I mean, it's literally one of the most recognizable animal patterns on the planet, right? Well, prepare to be surprised here. Despite many theories over the years, scientists still do not actually know for certain why pandas have these distinctive markings. No way, right? It just remains one of the great biological mysteries in the animal kingdom. But while their coloring is a total mystery, their anatomy is insanely specialized. Take the pseudo-thumb. Pandas have this elongated, enlarged wrist bone, covered in a fleshy pad of skin. It essentially acts just like a thumb, allowing them to perfectly grasp stalks of bamboo. This evolutionary adaptation is entirely dedicated to helping them hold on to their main food source. And believe me, they absolutely need that pseudo-thumb. Why? Because a single giant panda must consume up to 100 pounds of bamboo every single day just to get the nutrients they need. 100 pounds. It's a massive, seemingly endless feast. And this brilliantly illustrates the real paradox. Pandas have an herbivore diet, surviving almost entirely on bamboo. But internally, they actually have the digestive system of a carnivore. It's incredibly inefficient for processing plants, meaning that a huge chunk of that 100 pounds of bamboo is simply passed right out as waste. Their bodies are built like meat eaters, but they live like vegetarians. To make up for this huge inefficiency at the zoo, serious nutritional science comes into play. The staff supplements their diet with specially formulated nutritious biscuits, carrots, apples, and their absolute favorite, sweet potatoes. Plus, they even get treats. Little Xiao Qiji loves grape-flavored fruticals, while his parents, Mei Xiang and Tian Tian, prefer the apple juice ones. On birthdays, they get these huge frozen cakes. But hey, don't let the cute treats fool you. Zoo staff never, ever enter an enclosure with an adult panda. Their jaws are so powerful that their bite strength actually rivals that of a lion. Moving right along to Section 3, the miracle of motherhood, biological hurdles. Incredibly, giant pandas are fertile for less than 3 days each year. You heard that right, less than 3 days. It really highlights the extreme difficulty of panda reproduction. To combat this tiny window, Smithsonian scientists actually had to develop specific ways to predict it, just to improve the chances of a pregnancy. And even if they do hit that narrow window, the complexities are just staggering. For instance, giant pandas experience pseudo-pregnancies, which mimic real ones perfectly. Mei Xiang is believed to have had at least 6 of these false pregnancies. On top of that, gestation varies wildly, anywhere from 90 to 180 days. Why? Well, the fertilized egg usually just floats freely in the mother's uterus before it finally implants and starts developing. Because of all these biological hurdles, Mei Xiang and Tian Tian never successfully mated naturally. All their cubs were actually born via artificial insemination. But thanks to those intense scientific efforts, we have a wonderful legacy to celebrate. Mei Xiang has given birth to 4 cubs that survived to adulthood. Tai Shan in 2005, Bao Bao in 2013, Bei Bei in 2015, and little Xiao Qiji in 2020. And amazingly, she gave birth to Xiao Qiji at age 22. That makes her the oldest panda to give birth in the United States. That brings us to Section 4, From Pink to Panda, Astonishing Growth. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of the contrast. We're comparing a massive adult mother bear to a newborn cub that is only 1/900th of her size. Think about that. The cub weighs a mere 3 to 5 ounces. It's born pink, completely hairless, totally blind, and is roughly the size of a stick of butter. Aside from marsupials like kangaroos, a giant panda baby is the smallest mammal newborn relative to its mother's size on Earth. Because they're so tiny and vulnerable, the maternal care is unbelievably intense. First off, the mother fasts. Scientists have seen wild pandas go a full month without eating or drinking just to nurture their cub. After Zhao Qiji was born, Mei Sheng didn't eat for 12 straight days. She gently picks the cub up with her mouth, breathes heavily on it to keep it warm and humid, and constantly licks the cub in the first few weeks just to help it urinate and defecate. This level of dedication is a long-term commitment too. Cubs stay with their mothers for up to 3 years before finally striking out on their own. This long dependency actually means wild females can only produce young every other year at best. Oh, and an interesting side note here, male pandas are completely solitary and totally uninvolved in raising the cubs. In the wild, a father and his cub might literally never cross paths. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Saving the Species, a Global Effort. So, the crucial point to understand here is the sheer fragility of the species. Currently, there are only about 1,864 giant pandas living in their native wild habitat, compared to around 600 living in human care globally. Habitat loss remains their absolute greatest threat, which keeps those population numbers perilously low. But there is incredibly good news, and it's driven heavily by Smithsonian science. Their global impact is just immense. They aren't just studying pandas in DC, they're actively restoring bamboo forests in China's Kinling Mountains. They've produced over 150 research papers, trained more than 1,500 professionals in China on conservation techniques, and actually created the breeding frameworks that zoos across the globe use today. And because of this massive collaborative science, giant pandas were actually upgraded from endangered to vulnerable, a huge win. We're also seeing fantastic success in extending their lives. While wild pandas are estimated to live about 15 to 20 years, those in human care are living to 30 and beyond. The zoo's beloved Hing lived to be 28, and Chinese scientists have reported zoo pandas living to an incredible 38 years old. But listen, the work isn't done, and this is where you come in. I want to leave you with this direct quote from the zoo's own research notes. Climate change threatens the giant panda's habitat. Everyone can help make a difference by using water and energy more efficiently. It's true, your daily choices have a tangible, direct impact on the environment these incredible animals rely on. Which brings us to a final, thought-provoking question for you to take away today. Now that collaborative science has quite literally saved the giant panda from the brink of extinction, how will our daily choices shape their survival for the next 50 years? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep conserving, and keep making a difference.